Welcome to the Barber Hub podcast. I'm your host, Rick Hernandez. Got a very special guest for you today, Daniel Lujan of Capital Shave, longtime shop owner, also a lead educator for Maintain Products. Looking forward to getting into some helpful stuff for you today. Let's get started. How's it going, Daniel?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, man.
It's great.
It's a blessing to be here.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we kind of go back. I don't know if you remember, I used to be in Roston and put a lot of apprentices through Roston Barber School, and I remember you got on the board there, and I saw you were, doing things, making things happen.
Yeah, man. I remember clearly. Good old days. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
The struggle.
Did you go through Roston?
I did.
Yeah.
I went through the apprentice program, the extended Roston apprentice program.
What made you want to get into the industry?
Well, man, I don't even know where to start, bro. Honestly, I started very late.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably started around 29 years old.
Really?
Yeah, 29, 30. Picked up a pair of clippers. I worked in the warehouse industry for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Rough. I wouldn't say rough upbringing. Financially, it was okay, but a couple key factors missing in my childhood, like mom, dad, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once I graduated high school, I went straight into the warehouse industry, so I need to get those dollars up and never hit college, nothing like that. So, long story short, I 15 years in the industry. I'm sorry, 15 years in warehousing.
Oh, whoa.
I was just like, you know what, I'm out. Like, can't do this no more.
What triggered the barbering?
Well, I just, within working from a few different warehouses, I was blessed enough to maintain a job for, long periods of time, but I was always looking for a way out. I didn't want the man to have my future in his hands. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I've done a number of things, bro. Like, I mean, we can go back to, selling drugs, to clothing lines, to detailing cars, to painting houses,
Just a hustler.
Yeah, man. And it got to a point where I always wanted to cut hair.
Okay.
I always wanted to learn the craft, and it got to a point where I said, you know what, everything kept failing. The only thing that was there was this corporate America job that I hated with a passion. 401k, health insurance and stuff like that. So I picked up a pair of clippers, and I haven't looked back.
Did you have somebody that influenced you at all?
As far as influence, I'd have to say back then there wasn't too much. It was Facebook, Prior to that was, I think, like MySpace days and stuff, So the influence was really from like our local barbershops,
Nice.
And I'll always shout out King's Barber in the city of Rialto, California. My boy Mike out there.
Nice.
I spent a lot of time in that barbershop after he opened it.
It's good to show respect.
Yeah, for sure. So once that's where the passion kind of grew.
Okay.
But I just never approached it after that. So.
Yeah. So you started at 29. I thought I started late at 22. And I see, just shows you all it's never too late to start. He started at 29, and I'm telling you, he's a very, very successful barber entrepreneur. And that's inspiring. So you're 29, you decide, I'm done with this, and you just, like, you look for a barber school or what? Like a shop?
Yeah,
What'd you do?
So my mom was always telling me, she's been in the hair game for a minute, and she got into the apprentice program through the San Bernardino Adult School, which was John Olivas.
Yeah,
from Roston.
shout out, John.
Yeah, John.
I called him the other day. I was like, hey, John, you want to come on the show? He's like, I'm retired now. Let me see if I got time.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, John, you just got a lot of good stories. We're going to have to tell them for you then.
Oh, man. That's a 3-hour podcast right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, she went to the barber school. She got into the apprenticeship program, and I actually joined her. And
oh, no
she
way.
didn't finish, but I did. So you can see where that's going.
Yeah, yeah. See, I never knew the whole story. I always thought
Yeah.
your mom had been in it for a while, barbering a while, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You were the one who stepped up.
So yeah, so I ended up finishing it. Fast forward, once I got my license, she went back into the program under me, which wasn't a big deal. It was just,
And then that's how you got kind of more connected with Roston on a business level. Like, hey,
yeah.
let me help the program.
Well, fast forward to the apprenticeship program and holding the treasurer spot on the on
board.
the board.
Mm-hmm.
Once I finished the program, I was already full blown barbering.
Mm-hmm.
I was cutting part time through the last few, like 8 months of warehousing. Made myself get fired, get that unemployment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like go into barbering with a little bit of money, took out my 401k, and just put it all into barbering. And when I did that,
Did you invest your 401k into a shop?
partially, yeah. I school, shop, just getting through the times when, I was in transition from one career to the next. So, I just wanted that cushion to maintain, my living at the point, at that point. So, then yeah, a portion of it did go into a partnership, and then, fast forward back to the apprenticeship program. I jumped back on because I was in such awe of the support and love that my clientele was giving me. And when I hit barbering, I hit it running.
Yeah,
I was
you did.
everything in. I was all in. There was no turning back. Told myself I don't ever want to go back to warehouse again. So I said, you know what? I got to give back somehow. And I asked to be on the board.
Nice.
And that was my first professional setting with the barber school, with education.
Nice.
And fast forward, I ended up being asked to run the treasure spot and do all the accounting and bookkeeping and stuff for the program.
Nice.
Which I held for about 3.5 years. So
Yeah, you must have did a good job. I never heard of any scandals or anything. So
yeah, well, with those OGs over there, you can't get nothing past them.
John and Dr. Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. That's a whole nother. We'll have to do a Roston reunion and tell war stories from barber school.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you did you work? You worked in a shop for a while first, and then you built a clientele, and then started a shop, or how did you go about it? How did you know it was time to start a shop? That's what I want to know.
So, man. So I worked at a barbershop here in Ontario, and I was under the table. She didn't want to help me get into the program. She didn't want to do anything to get her establishment under the radar. So I worked there as long as I can until my buddy, that was my coworker next to me, was like, "Hey, bro, let's go to Fontana. I found a spot, this and that, whatnot." And he's the one that actually signed me once we both left that shop.
Okay.
And then fast forward, after getting my license, or close to getting my license, a business opportunity came with a private investor, and we pretty much purchased the shop from him. And then that's when it became Capital Shave. And at that, there was a lot of partners involved and stuff like that. And
Did that all go well?
It did not go well.
Are you able to elaborate? You don't have to, but are you able to elaborate on, maybe regrets, mistakes, apprehensions, like advice you would give to somebody going into a potential partnership? What you learned?
Yeah, I don't like partnerships.
Yeah.
Partnerships in barbershops are so let's just put it this way. If you're going to go into a partnership for a barbershop owner, do it with someone that has been in the industry, that cuts hair, and doesn't want to invest money, because that return, you know how it is.
Yeah,
those slow days, it's almost pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
This guy wants to give a lump sum. Yeah, and expect it back.
People don't know Amazon didn't make money for like 20 years or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's a long-term investment. It takes I remember a mentor of mine told me it takes 3 to 5 years to get a business profitable. And if you do a barbershop right and you go in there with full clientele, you can be profitable day one, but it's not going to be crazy right away. And yeah, it's good. I got a motto that I figured early in life. I was like, you know what? I will never do a partnership with somebody that I'm not comfortable living with. If we couldn't share a house together, I'm not sharing a business with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure. I mean, you even look at like relationships and marriages.
exactly.
Those are like the worst business partners. To go against what you just
Sure.
said.
Hey, this is what it's about. That's all right.
But you know,
different dynamics.
Yeah, different dynamics. So man, I just say this: if you can't afford to put it all in by yourself and lose it by yourself, just don't do it.
That's good. Yeah. So that ultimately dissolved, and then how'd you rebound from that? Like, where did it leave you?
So it was a weird time. My buddy, my mentor at the time, that actually put me under him. The establishment went back to him because we were still in the middle of a purchasing phase, and it was an outright purchase. It was within
Installment plan.
the installment plan, and too many partnerships going on there, and things just went south. So the remainder of that fell in his hands, and he just kind of like, he pretty much got that establishment out of the hole that it got into real quick, and then continued on.
Nice.
And once that was established, I stayed there for quite some time after that, and then just regrouped and said, you know what, it's time for me to spread my wings, and
Nice.
I'm going to branch off, but I'm going to keep the name. And it wasn't, I came up with the name.
That's intellectual property right there.
Yeah. And then, so we were like sister shops, brother shops, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I always wondered about that because I remember I didn't want to touch
Yeah.
it, but you brought it up. I mean, I was like, is it Capital Shave over there too? Like,
Yeah, it's still Capital Shave. Shout outs, Capital Shave Fontana.
yeah.
And, but, when there's passion and when there's love and everything, things get, behind a name. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to branch off. I'm going to revamp my brand and go with it my way, and grow, and that's all I've been focused on is growth.
What year did you start your shop?
We're 4 years in right now.
Is that all?
Approaching our
I feel like
fifth
you've been
year.
around longer. I guess because the Fontana Spa, it's just it's
Yeah.
actually good. Build off that brand identity. I feel like it's been around a lot longer.
Yeah. So Capital Shave Altaloma is 4 years in.
Nice.
And we're approaching our 5th year.
Solid.
Yeah, and it's been quite a journey, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you got any tips on like finding barbers? Like, what do you look for in a barber when do you have a way you approach it? What do you look for in a good barber you hire?
Well, I try to keep it simple. Just good work ethic, good vibes. I don't want to be that barber or that shop owner that's actually has too high of a standard.
Okay. Yeah.
It runs a strict,
Yeah, I know. That's
strict
that's a
business.
real thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and just keep it honest,
Yeah.
hold them accountable and make sure they hold me accountable. And if we vibe, then you get past that
Absolutely.
little probation period, then we'll try it out,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I have to say one thing, and a lot of people like trip out on me about it, but I have a passion for students.
No, I believe
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Majority of the last 4 years, I want to say like in the 90 percentile has been apprentices, students, or
I'm a believer in that approach. I think it's, for me, and it varies from owner, but if you're like you, and I'm like that too, if you love teaching, the best way is to find people that fit your culture, fit your character, and their grain, and you teach them. That bond is so strong then that's almost like becomes like almost a father-son bond. Like, I'm your revelator. I'm the one who showed you the way.
Yeah. And with that being said, I'm trying to create a brand here.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can get someone right out of school hungry or in school apprenticeship program,
Yeah.
and they want to learn, I can mold them
Into your brand identity.
into my brand identity. But one thing that I do that I believe sets me aside
All right.
from everyone else is not only do I want you to become a capital shave barber, I need you to become who you want to be.
All right.
Create your own brand.
It's beautiful.
And I need you to hit on all cylinders so you can do the same for the brand. Because if you're half-stepping your personal goals and aspirations, then what good are you to the brand?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. I read a book some years ago called The Dream Manager. And it has kind of a twofold meaning, like the manager you would want, but actually what he brings out in the book is a manager's job is to manage people's dreams.
Yeah.
You should help them achieve their dreams, whether that's with you or not. And you're going to find oftentimes it can be with you. If you could help them find their dreams, like you said, get them firing on all cylinders, being excited about what they're doing, it's going to return dividends to what you're doing.
Yeah. And I've heard that analogy. I didn't know it came from a book, but I've heard something like that back in the day, and it just stuck with me because I look at other veteran barbershops in the industry, and one shop that I look up to hands down was American Barbershop.
In Corona? Or Anaheim or something?
Santa Ana.
Santa Ana. Yeah, that's right, Santa Ana.
So, you know, George, great guy out there. And if you look at his staff, his barbers don't leave him, you know, and if they do, they open up an American barbershop for the most part. And I'm just like, man, what is this guy doing over there? You know, because I need Capital Shave to be as solid as that. And to backtrack a little bit, students can be my next Capital Shave.
Absolutely.
I'd rather mold a student, roll the dice on a student to become what we both want to become together and individually, rather than bringing in a veteran barber that has clientele, but bad habits that can potentially lead into disaster.
Yeah. Speaking of which, have you ever had to fire a barber?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to fire a few barbers.
Okay.
And recent.
All right. Well, I mean, you got any advice on that?
I was just talking to my partner today, and that's the worst thing that you want to do.
That was hard.
You know,
I couldn't sleep the first time I had to fire a barber.
Yeah, I mean, I've had barbers begging for their jobs back, in tears.
Yeah, it's hard.
Things like that, and you know, prayer goes a long way for one. You know what I'm saying? I always try to take another route besides going there. And some of my veteran barbers and my solid barbers are like, bro, what are you doing? It's time. This guy got to go.
Yeah.
So
that's one of those leadership things. Like, this is what a leader has to do, make these hard decisions.
Yeah. But, you know, we got grown men that have families.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I try to work different routes and avenues, and when it just doesn't work, it just doesn't work. But one thing that I've structured in my shop, and we were just talking about that today, was I'm going to help you get to where you need to get, whether if it's customer service, whether if it's being vocal and having conversation, whether if it's you want to take the next step and compete or showcase or education, or scratch that, you just want to open another shop. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to help you get to that point one way or another. But you need to take my constructive criticism. You need to let me mentor you as a shop owner. I don't want to be your mentor. I don't want to tell you how to do things, but it's all respect within these four walls. Once we get outside of that respect and you start going against the brand code of conduct, once you go against the team.
So you do have like some standards, like some core things, like these are our non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
Right.
And that makes it easier for me to say, hey, bro, it's not working out outside of our journey here. Things have got a bit disrespectful because either you're doing this or you're doing that. And I just set that foundation first. So then when it does come time to that, it's more of a, just, we have an agreement here, and you're not.
You're violating our agreement.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, I always looked at it like this, you know, like I didn't fire you, fired yourself. Like we had an agreement, you broke it, you signed your own walking papers.
Yeah.
And that made it easier. Not that it's easy, and it should never be easy, but made it easier. Then it made me more like, it's uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't want to go through this anymore. Like, I want to be way more selective. I'm going to vet people.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced this. You're like, after you fire someone, like,
yeah.
I was saying, a quick saying I've heard was, you know, be slow to hire and fast to fire. Because once you know it's over, and the more you drag it out, you end up, like I had a friend, I told him, like, you know what, I kept someone on too long, and it actually messed you up, and that's my fault. As an owner, it's my fault. I let a rotten apple ruin the whole bunch, and it's tough.
I just went through that, and it's you know, my shop manager's he's a great guy. My first apprentice, my success story.
Nice.
And he when I'm not there, he does his thing, and he was like, this and this and this happened, and I'm like, okay, well, let's go. It's time, you know. Oh, wait, are we gonna find another barber? And I'm like, no, bro, it's time.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, hey, don't you want to plan this? I'm like, no, I've waited too long.
Yeah, and that's smart.
He is becoming a bad apple, and the vibe is off. So I'm potentially going to lose not only him, but a great barber here that's already bumping heads.
Exactly.
Know? And it does become
it's tough.
An apology to the rest of the team. You know?
Yeah. But that's more admirable and respectful, and then respectable. And I think you send a message. The biggest message you send is you care. What helped me to get to that point, because growing up, most of the shops I've ever been in, and the shop I first worked in, it had a history where no one had ever really been fired. And I remember one time talking to the owner, like, hey, we need to raise our prices. I'm like, he's like, we can't, because we know we got so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm like, well, fire him then. He's like, no, it's not that easy. I'm like, this is your business. But and I felt, because I've been on this end, I'm like, it's not fair to us, the barbers that are putting in the work, that are trying our best. And when I was an owner, I remembered that perspective. I'm like, it's not fair to the ones that are putting in 100%, that are doing everything I've asked of them. And they're looking at me like, why are you keeping him around? He's dragging us all down. And I'm like, you're right. It's not fair. It's not about even me. I feel it's not fair. I have a responsibility to these other barbers and their families, because they're affecting their livelihood. I'm like, if you got somebody who's scaring customers away, who's throwing off the vibe, like you said, he's got to go. And I noticed early on, like, that's going to be a distinctive that sets us apart, is that we got a door that swings both ways.
Exactly.
Because most barbershops I know of, like, they don't fire people. You got a pulse, boom. I was in a shop one time, and they're like, somebody walked in, they're like, you got a barber license? He's like, nah. You got a clientele? Nah, not really. You got
clippers?
You got a lot of experience? Nah, not really. Okay, when can you start? I'm like, are you serious? The man never even came back. He was scared. Like, they just made up an interview on the spot. He bombed every question. They said, when can you start? And sadly, a lot of barber owners have that mentality. They just think, oh, he's another booth renter. He's another person making me money. But they don't realize there's also a negative balance. There could be a negative impact someone makes too.
And and then going back to partnership, that's why I don't partnership with an investor, because then you start having that mentality. You know, I've seen it.
They're like, no, you can't fire him. He pays booth rent or whatever. Or he cuts people. I remember an owner telling me, but he has clients. I'm like, but he has a lot of people that don't come here because he's here. You know, it's not good when, like, someone asks, hey, can I meet you after hours? Because here's the thing, a lot of owners don't get, a lot of people are non-confrontational. They think, oh no, they'll just go to a different barber. No, they won't.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to tell that barber, no, I don't want to sit with you.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just going to go somewhere else. It just got uncomfortable. And usually that type of barber is the same one who's like, come on, I got you. Get in my chair. I'll get you. They're like,
yeah.
And a lot of men, they don't have that ability to have a confrontation where like, I'm like, I'm just going to go somewhere else because I don't want to have to tell him no.
Yeah.
And owners, I think they don't realize that the negative impact far outweighs the little bit of money they're making you.
Yeah. I think, and to go off that a little bit is the atmosphere. We create an atmosphere to where we don't have none of that. There's none of that.
It's our responsibility. That's what we do as owners. You're supposed to be the driver of the culture, the driver of the vibe.
Yeah. You got one barber
set the tone.
cherry picking haircuts. You got another barber. Don't greet, don't say goodbye. You walk into my shop, the whole line saying hello, and they're saying goodbye.
Nice.
I tell the guy in the back, the furthest one, you need to say bye to everybody. Because guess what? I'm first share, you're last share. When I'm not here and he wants to come back and he needs a haircut, he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to go to old boy in the back because he goes out of his way every time to tell me bye.
That's how I got busy as an apprentice. I'm like, you know what? I worked for a barber who was great. He was really busy, but he was always running behind. So I knew, like, if I'm going to stick around, I got to add value to him. What can I do to help him? Oh, I'm going to keep his clients entertained so they don't get upset that he's like 45 minutes behind every time. Yeah. So I just got to know his people. Yeah. After a while, he found out I knew his clients better than he did because he's running behind. He's rushed. He can't really get into it. Like, no, I got to get into it. Yeah. And after a while, they started noticing my haircut's getting a little better. I'm gonna go with Rick.
Yeah.
And I got a young man who I'm planning to hire soon this summer, and he comes, hangs out in the shop, and he gets it. I'm like, you're going to do good. He's like, how do you know? I'm like, because you care about the people. Yeah. They're going to just hanging out, and you're getting to know them. They're already talking about, oh, when you start, I'm going to let you cut my hair.
Yeah.
And it's great. And that matters more. The old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Mm-hmm. Well, that caring, I learned early on. I wasn't that good when I started. I know that. But I made up for it by caring. And I know people felt that, like, hey, I tried my best. I'm going to do whatever it takes to do better next time. Trust me. And they would come back. Like, I feel it.
Yeah, and that's the vibe. That's the experience that you create. Going to get a haircut in a barbershop isn't just a haircut. It's more than a haircut. And within the industry, that term is always thrown around. It's more than a haircut, more than a haircut.
Yeah.
But as a customer, a patron, a client, you walk into a barbershop and you know when it's more than just a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's an experience, no doubt.
And my barbers and my apprentices and just new hires, they trip out on my clientele that are willing to sit with them. But that's because I've established that already.
But that's a good, secure owner. That's how I tried to approach it too, and because I saw owners that didn't do that. I remember John Olivas, he would tell us about the first shop he worked in, where like it was the owner and his wife was the receptionist and he was like the apprentice. And he started finding out the wife was just funneling all the clients to the husband, even though they were just wanting to sit with whoever. And he's just hoarding them up. And John's like, forget this, I gotta go do my own thing. And I remember as an owner, like I always felt a little insecure, like I gotta make sure they're happy. And so I'm like, hey, try out John, try out Nick, whoever. You'll love him. He'll take good care of you. And it just went full circle. Like one of my friends, he's helping me out a little bit, and he like thought he was throwing me a bone. He's like, hey, my client says if you're available, I'm cutting his sons. He'd love to have you cut his hair. And I didn't really say nothing. And then my client kind of chuckled. He's like, Rick was cutting my hair long before you. Like, he like passed me off,
Yeah.
And then he moved away and all that. But I'm like, it's all good.
Oh, I've lost loyal clients to my barbers.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to what a good mentor you are.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of people people want to work for.
Yeah.
You want to work for somebody who's gonna make you the best he can make you. Yeah. When I left the first shop I worked at, the owner was like, why are you leaving me? People are just going to do the same thing to you. They're going to go and start their own shop. You know what I told him? I was like, good.
Yeah.
I hope they do. Yeah. He's like, what? Why? I'm all, think about it. If they want to start their own shop, they're like me. That means they're going to treat my shop like it's their shop, just like I've treated your shop like it was my shop. Yeah. I said, most of my clients thought I owned this shop. They're wondering why I'm starting another shop. Like, don't you own this one? Yeah. You're here early. You stay late. I notice you always say bye to everybody. You make sure everybody, I've seen you fix a few haircuts. Like, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's the kind of people I want working for me. So that was always an interview question. Hey, you want to start your own shop? If they said no, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want them. Either they're lying or they got no ambition, and either one, I don't want them. You know, like that was the right answer. Tell me you want to start your own shop.
Yeah, that 100%. That's it's a goal, but it's always been a dream since I started Capital Shave Barbers in Altaloma, was to branch off, create barbers that want to work for you, that believe in your brand, that believe in a sense, a hierarchy of a brand.
Absolutely.
To where they can go be themselves under that brand, have a shop, own a shop, because a lot of barbers don't want a shop. They don't care to have whatever their name is, barbershop. But if you give them the opportunity to...
You set it in motion.
Grow within...
Well, what it is, not everybody is an entrepreneur. And that's going back to the whole them starting their own shop thing. What I found, I had that mentality, and a lot of them stayed.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is willing to take the kind of risks we've taken. Not everybody's willing to put their money on the line.
Yeah.
And person I sold my last shop to, great Ivan, and I was hoping to get him on the show first because he's got a great story. He went from sweeping the shop to owning the shop.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ivan, he's not a big risk taker, but he's a great manager, you know, and it was perfect for him to buy an existing shop that was structured, it was plug and play, and he does a great job of keeping it going.
Yeah.
And but I know him well enough to know, like, nah, I don't want to go into uncharted waters, you know. And you know, I'm kind of the opposite, but it there's different ways to work it, you know.
Yeah. I for myself, man, like I just creating something that people want to work for is my thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get everything we just talked about. You'll get that.
Exactly.
Maybe not
100%,
but you know, you'll get it.
One of the other things you do that's great that I personally have always wondered, I think it's a great segment to segue into, is, you know, you talk about your love for teaching and stuff, but on my understanding, you're lead educator for Maintain. Like you're so involved. I always thought it was your brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
you just explained it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was that guy in that barbershop. They thought it was my barbershop.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, no, but you know.
So how did you get into it, like, to being an educator? I'm sure there's a lot of barbers that, you know, that's another opportunity available to us as master barbers, you know, to give back. And how'd that open up for you?
So just to start, back to jumping on the board, I wanted to give back. I gave back to the school by giving myself to them as use me to work. Where do you need me? Because if it wasn't for this apprenticeship program, I would still be in that concrete jungle, right?
Yeah.
Then I started doing community service. I can't give free haircuts, you know, cutting the homeless and going to Skid Row, handing out clothes, this, that, whatnot, the other. So I developed a great passion for giving back.
It's good. It's beautiful.
You know, I believe that we're all put here for a reason.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes it's vocal, you know, just be an influencer, you know, say, just make, you know, inspiration, you know.
Yes, sir.
For me, I developed a skill with my hands that I'm able to change lives, you know, from toddlers into junior high school, and I see them graduate. You know, I've been in the industry long enough to witness that, you know. So then fast forward to education, I just want to get back, you know.
That's good.
If I can be one stepping stone in your journey through barbering, then I'm accomplished. You know, when I do classes, I don't expect you guys to take it all, but if you take one thing back to the shop and actually use it behind the chair,
Mm-hmm.
I'm accomplished.
That's beautiful.
So back into how did I get into education? I had my own brand prior to Maintain Professional Men's Grooming, which was Oliver's Organics. I'm pretty sure you remember that.
I do.
The beard oil.
Yeah.
You purchased some product from me in the past.
Yeah.
And that was another journey of mine, man.
Yeah.
You know, I took everything from before barbering, all these little hustles and the entrepreneur mindset before that was a popular word, you know.
Yeah.
And I got into barbering and I said, okay, I need to make a product. You know? At the time, my son's mom was pregnant. I grew out my beard. I actually bought a beard oil at Mowdown back in the day. Shout out to Barber Society. And I ran out. So then I reproduced it and put it out there. And I said, I need to get in front of a crowd. I'm not an educator. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not a competitor. I need to get in front of the crowd and show them how to use my product. So I started doing beard demos with my own product. Beard demos, you know. Moving forward, I started doing hair demos, cut and beard. You know, competed a couple times, wasn't really my thing. I wanted to be on the platform, platform artist, not competitor.
Right.
And
two different things, yeah.
And this industry is so open and so beautiful that you can create your own lane.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I did, was pushed my way through and created my own lane. Network, contact here, contact there. Hey, can I come to your school? Hey, can I come to your shop? And I'm still struggling with certain areas of it.
Yeah.
But I haven't let up. And thankfully, I've landed an opportunity with Maintain. After the pandemic hit, I kind of put Oliver's Organics on the back burner just because I didn't want to completely ruin it. But with the pandemic, and I was just even having problems getting supplies into the States.
Yeah, it's tough.
Know? And I put it on the side, and I was offered an opportunity. Once I'd done so, I didn't realize that there was already people watching me. So when they seen that, they're like, hey.
Yeah, you were building your pedigree.
I have an opportunity for you. Let's talk. And I was kind of opposed to it because I still had, my passion was here with my own brand. But then they're like, I got this for you. And it took some time to actually absorb it. And that's where I'm at now, lead educator for Maintain Professional Men's Grooming, Los Angeles. We have a few teams throughout.
So what's States. It like being an educator? Like, what are the things you like about it? What do you get to do?
For myself, I just like being in front of the crowd.
All right.
Yeah, I because it's a fear of mine, and I'll just let everybody know right now.
Nice.
It's crazy, you know. Just I can only imagine being like a rapper or a singer that has like a whole audience waiting for them out there. But the minute I get on stage, it's just tunnel vision. Bam.
Nice.
The passion kicks in. I do my thing, and it's a great end result when you get feedback stepping off that stage.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Or how did you do this? Or what was that you did? You know, and back to just, if I can help you take one thing back to your station and use it behind the chair, I'm good, you know.
Nice.
Just keep it simple. I don't need the fame. I don't need the clout. I don't need all that kind of stuff. And that's why I'm with the brand that I'm with, because we're growing together, you know. And they give me that opportunity to do just me, how I do it. And obviously with some guidelines too, but
yeah, of course. Hopefully we're not violating any of them.
Oh no, not at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, good. So hey, you know, we've been doing this a little while. What obviously it's no secret, you know, there's a lot of changes in the industry happening. A lot of the barbering industry is blowing up really in a lot of ways, and it's good and bad. It's great to see, you know, I'm waiting for the day when we see American made barber chairs again, because there's such a demand, you know. But a lot of innovations. I remember haircutting clippers for years, like years there was no innovations, and now I can't even keep up.
Yeah.
It's insane. But I think it's interesting. There's so much competition now. It's really saturated. What advice would you give to somebody trying to get into it now?
For myself, I use that term a lot because I don't go off textbook.
Yeah.
Whatever
Sure.
that means for barbering. But
Yeah.
I always give my personal advice.
That's what we're here for. That's why I got you here.
Yeah. And I just want barbers to know that it's just that create your own lane, do what you do, and don't worry about nobody else. Because I see a lot of barbers, like, they want to be sponsored. They want to be an educator. They want to do this. They want to be a barbershop owner. But you really have to narrow it down and create those good habits, create that skill, create that urge for someone to want you on their team. Because young barbers just want to, after COVID, everyone just jumps in and they're somebody, you know, and half of those don't even last, you know, half of them can't manage what they make, you know, got young kids bringing in $1,000, $1,500 a week, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old. I didn't see that money for a cool minute, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I just always say, create your lane, stay in it.
Nice.
And opportunity will present itself.
I love it.
If you stay true to the craft, and what you put in is what you're going to get back.
I love it. Yeah, I used to tell my friend, I said, you know, barbering is an honest job. Not in the sense this is an honest trade, but it's honest in the sense that it won't lie to you.
Not at all.
It'll tell you what you're worth. You'll get out of it what you put into it. Yeah.
100% when it comes to even just the clientele that you have in your chair. If that's what you're putting into it, that's the clientele you're going to get.
Nice.
If you tighten it up a little bit and even just a handshake and eye contact, that's the clientele you're going to start getting. The better conversation, the appearance, the cleanliness of your station. You know, you have to put everything into this craft to get that quality clientele, to get that quality barbershop.
That's right.
To get that brand, to get that retirement, you know, because if not, you're going to be doing it for a long time and just spinning your wheels.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm so glad we got to talk. I love your passion. I love your vision. You obviously got a clear vision. I think that's so important. You gotta know what you're shooting for. That way you can make decisions that, you know, they align with your vision and your goals, and put in the work and the time. I know it's gonna work out. I'm super impressed, Daniel.
Thank you,
It's
man.
been a great time.
Thank you for having me. It's
It's an honor.
Yeah, no, it's truly a blessing to have the opportunity to tell my story and
Absolutely.
hopefully help someone out there. You know?
Oh yeah, it's been a blessing to me. Like, I've learned so much already. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
nice. Yeah, hey, well, thanks again for coming.
Yeah, man.
It's been an honor to have you. I hope we could do this again.
Anytime. Maybe when I do my podcast on my shop, I'll bring you on.
Oh, I would be honored. I would be
Let's
honored.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.